Good evening, Trinidad and Tobago. Welcome to Levy Talk. My name is Nicola Barreto, and of course, we are live right here on TV4. We're also streaming live at www.facebook.com/TV4 and at gisltd.tt/TV-4. I know that's a lot to absorb, but just make sure and stay right here, tuned to your television sets. We're going to give you some good old talk. We're talking Kaiso, and we're ensuring that you have a good conversation and a good time. And you also have the opportunity to pick up your telephone and give us a call at 675-8747 or 675-8749. Get familiar with the numbers, 675-8747 or 675-8749. So Carnival is literally over. But of course, the music continues, the vibe continues, the conversation continues, the art form continues, and the culture is deep and embedded within us. Let me introduce my guests this evening. Devon Seals, thank you so much for joining us. Devon was, of course, placed second with the songs My Humble Plea. Some of you may know it by another name. And Soul Judges, Calypso Monarch competition. Ife Allen, welcome to Levy Talk. She is the NWAC Calypso Queen. She performed Child of Liberty. She's also the NYAC Calypso Queen, Star of Tomorrow. So we have a lot to talk about with Ife. And of course, the reigning Calypso Monarch, 2014-2015. Chucky Gordon is in the house. Good evening to you. Thank you so much. Plain talk, bad manners. Feel free to say what you want to say. Levy Talk. And to our viewers, call us 675-8747 or 675-8749. So, Devon, I'm going to jump in with you. We want to address Calypso then, Calypso now, the art form in itself, and where do you think Calypso is going from here? And you guys, I mean, you feel free to jump in at any time. All right, just don't talk over anybody. Just, yeah. But how do you feel about the art form at this time, especially looking at your presentation in 2015?
Well, clearly, good evening, first of all. Clearly, it's quite evident that Calypso is in good hands. When we look at the finals this year, or even if we go to the semi-finals, for example, in the finals, we had, what, 12 contestants, and out of the 12, nine of 40.
Yeah. And that's a good thing, huh?
And yeah, clearly. Even in the semi-finals, we had, what, 75% being, 80% the young generation. So I would say it is in good hands, and then we have the likes of Aaron Duncan coming up, and Jeremy Rodriguez.
Yes.
Sasha Moses, she
very talented individuals.
So I will say Calypso is in good hands. What we need to do, though, is what was kind of alarming to me this year is that the dwindling audience at the Dimash Gras.
Well, that is a heavy duty issue that we have to deal with, a challenge.
But let me just jump in and say I personally find that the audience is dwindled across the board. It was not just Calypso alone. It was Soca Monarch, it was Panorama. Particularly startling to me was on the road. The audience is on the road win significantly for the
You mean the spectators for Monday and Tuesday?
Monday and Tuesday, yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I think it may have a lot to do with the financial climate. Also, many people would have had an exuberant attitude towards Carnival, let's say maybe July, August, September last year. But then, of course, with the drop in oil prices, some people may have just decided to hold back. But we'll address that as well.
And even next year will be even shorter.
Well, February 3rd and 4th, I believe it's somewhere around there. But what I want to look at, though, you say that Calypso is in good hands. And Chucky, I don't know if you remember, many years ago, we may have had a conversation about Calypso is dying. And this may have been, what, 2012, somewhere around there, where soca was in your face.
Right.
And you found that the upcoming artists, they were not focused on the Calypso itself. So there was a fight, and we had the older heads, the icons, some of them saying, well, what's really going on here? Why are we not focused on Calypso? What do you think would have made the difference between then, 2012, 2013, let's say 2010, moving forward, to present?
I don't think it was anything like young people was not involved in Calypso. I think a lot of times they don't get the publicity and the, you know, people actually, because Karen Ashley would have been in the making around that time. Right?
Connor in 2012, Pluton in 2010.
But let's only look at the Marsh Grant and Skinner Park. But I'm talking about generally, because I'm involved in a lot of youth programs in terms of Calypso. Jewels, Pioneers, Junior Pathfinders, Junior Monarch, different things and you see that their youths are consistently showing that they are talented, schools are being involved, and things like that. Chucky, you yourself been in Stars of Tomorrow years ago, but at the same time, I don't think you got the publicity as you got when you jumped into soca.
It's an interesting development for me that I always identify. We have a very solid foundation for Junior Calypso in this country. Junior Calypso Monarch and all the different stages that NJAC provides. However, there's a disconnect between that age when you're just about to leave school, let's say 18 to 21, getting that molding, getting the opportunity and the space to perform, and then transitioning to seniors. There's a gap that takes place there, and I think that gap is usually held on to by soca, because that becomes the most ascribed to music. You hear it all the time, you see it all the time. So the young people who have been performing consistently at a young age gravitate toward the soca naturally at that phase. You know, and then they lose sight of and the feeling and the attraction towards Calypso at that particular age.
But then it comes back.
Well, for some of us it comes back. For some of us.
Do you think that as media that we play a major part in not highlighting or focusing on the art form itself? Stop laughing.
Definitely.
Stop. The foundation of the art form.
Definitely.
Do you think that's what it is, Chucky?
Yeah, because I mean, the soca is commercially viable. As I said, it's the most subscribed to. It's what drives the carnival, so to speak, because it's a festive atmosphere, and the soca is what contributes to the festivity, so to speak. So the major fetes, the major events, and when they pay for their sponsor time and they pay for their artists and their songs to be publicized, that is the end result of it. All you see is soca in your face, and that has been happening particularly, I would say, in the past 15 years.
And even if sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, in the past 15 years, because in the 90s and the mid-90s and the late 90s, people like Stalin and Sparrow still held on. They were still very popular in the parties. But as the commercialization of Carnival came to the fore, and in particular when the urban radio and the urban format made Carnival seasonal, it brought that sense of Carnival is limited to this period, and it is merely and strictly about soca music.
Well, that's something we have to address as well, the issue of our culture being seasonal. But do you think that it's possibly a generation change? You talk about Sparrow, you talk about Stalin, you talk about all the icons. Is it that we're seeing, as you say, a gap in between the older heads, the icons moving on, and the younger heads taking up that slack?
I think also if you're looking at younger persons taking up, like as he mentioned before about the gap, you find that there's not a space for Calypsonians. There isn't a space for you to project your work. For example, Generation X over the last 9 years would have, create a space for young Stars of Tomorrow, people coming out of Stars of Tomorrow. We're like, where do we go from here? You're in Stars of Tomorrow, Calypso, there's nowhere for you. There's no show, there's no... And so Generation X would have been a space for us to be able to say, okay, and you have people like Sasha, Chucky yourself, Ola Tunji, myself, Karina Shea, Dwayne O'Connor, Sheldon Reed, several young people who just looking for that avenue to say, okay, this is your first space, and you know, you stay and you hang on. I'm still in Generation X. You hang on to, you know, where is that space for Calypso? But that gap is definitely there.
Beyond the carnival time as well. I think, you know, we tend to focus, as you mentioned, it's more seasonal, and we need to get out of that kind of mindset, because I mean, we are Trinidadians, we are Trinbagonians, and we must, you know,
we need to
embrace our culture. I mean,
because that seasonal change has to come at a national level.
Definitely.
It has to. But It has to start somewhere, and I mean, this is a good place to start. And when I say a good place, I'm talking about the under 40. Now, what about, you know, the criticism that you face? It may not be in the majority, but those who will not embrace the art form of calypso, and they will say, oh gosh, I'm going to listen to somebody saying Dubai, 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 Dubai.
It's interesting. My experience performing soca as well. Particularly last year, I was able to perform.
Well, you have the best of both worlds, huh?
So I could speak from a place of being able to do calypso in what I would consider mainstream soca events, or some of the upper all-inclusive, so to speak. And I was able to perform my calypso in that event to rousing responses. And that was an interesting fact for me. The point is, I think once people are exposed to calypso, and that is the selling point, the exposure to it. How much do we see calypso? How much do we hear calypso?
Calypsonians today, that's why we now try to utilize the technology. You know, the younger generation and the calypso utilizing the technology and trying to encourage the older ones, you know, how important it is.
Because I did a music video for my second song, I Believe. And I am now safely able to perform I Believe anywhere I go. I feel, as you witnessed last week Friday, you know, I feel comfortable enough to do it because I think I would have done the work to expose it to the audience. And I'm seeing it now over the past couple of days everywhere I perform, and people have been tuning into the song. They see the video, they have captured the visual, and they've now, the song has become a part of them, so I now have been able to add it to my repertoire anywhere I go without concern about, you know, is a calypso that we come in to say.
Yeah, well.
So it's all about exposure, but the space for the exposure that
is limited.
Is limited,
and
that
of course,
is the challenge.
And we need to play a part as well. How do you make the calypso spicy? I mean, of course, where do you draw the line? You have My Humble Play, and of course, Ife, your particular song was Child of Liberty, and Chucky, well, The Rose, and I Believe. Where it's calypso. So for the naysayers who may not enjoy it as, you know, the regulars would, how do you add that additional element of, hey, let me listen. Is it the pekong? Is it bacchanal?
Well,
is it drama?
Pekong is very important. Pekong is
Go
part
now,
of
what is it? How do you, you know, tweak it and make it enjoyable?
Well, I normally collaborate with the composer, and for those who know my history in the past, they would know that Devon will kind of like come very original, and some people will say, some people will even heckle me and say university lyric styling. So this year I really try to keep it at the ground level.
Really?
Yeah. The grassroots, yeah. So it was all about the collaboration and, you know, telling the composer, you know, here, trying to bring it down to, you know, I don't want them to be thinking twice when they hear the message.
That's excellent. But Ife, your sound is I'm looking for a word to describe. Describe your sound for me, because it's different.
Okay, well, my song shows how your consciousness, you know, embodies how you achieve. You know, if you embrace your history, your sense of pride in yourself and things like that, you can achieve greatness. That's what the song is speaking about. For the song, it was a personal, from a personal perspective, to show how that consciousness can bring about achievement. So I went into my African roots and showed how you can be a child of liberty in terms of succeeding, right? But beyond that, what I did with the music aspect to make it all embracing is to have a lot of various hook lines that can, you know, pull the audience. So you have that crowd participation into the song, as well as the music, not too slow, but something that people can dance to. Because dancing is me. I love whatever music I create. It must be music that people can dance with, not simply just listen, but they can dance along, they can clap, they can respond to. So that works for me in terms of.
Is it also an inner energy? You know, your vibration is important.
I was about to say it's because calypso reflects the very essence of our being, of who we are. Calypso is the only music in the world, and that is a fact, that you can treat any topic in any way, in any form. The only genre in the world that allows you to do that. And so the the purposes of calypso is wide-ranging. You could sing political commentary, social commentary, humorous,
love songs,
party. It is limitless, and I think it is because of that. What really stands out for me in a good calypso is the techniques utilized. You know, the use of literary devices, the masking, the satire. Like the Rose was a satire.
Yes. Yes.
It commented on the issues of the day in a satirical manner, and that is the beauty of calypso. And I think the craft involved that really allows for people to appreciate a great calypso. And for me, that is where my focus always lies.
Well, it always goes back for me to Calypso by David Ruddell, because he's able to just break it down.
Yeah.
And I don't know how many of us, looking on, how much of us actually feel that energy and embrace the music and dive deep into the lyrics itself. Because, I mean, you can be taken into another world, or, you could be like, whoa, I didn't know. Interesting.
Yes.
Really.
With Ruddell, you see the picture unfolding before your eyes when you hear the song.
When you hear the song, you pause reason.
Stalin has a different
Stalin,
kind of effect.
yeah.
He has a deep-rooted effect on the system. When you hear his song, you just feel it.
And what about Sparrow? A shadow.
Sparrow is visual.
Yeah.
Visual, auditory. You see, you hear, you feel. And you embrace the excellence of the individual in terms of a craftsman. So everybody has a different vibes that goes with
And then when you think about people like, Bomber and Lion, and you go all the way back, and Maestro, Merchant, I mean, it is endless. But I'm not sure if we have to take a break, but I just want to remind you that you can feel free to give us a call. The number is 675-8747 or 675-8749. And, of course, we're streaming live at facebook.com/RTV4 and also at GSLTD.TT/TV-4. We have to change that. Too much words. Or just, our TV. Well, you can tweet us. Yes, we're tweeting now. Our TV, Let Me Talk. And, of course, the numbers I just gave you. So for those of you just joining us, Chucky Gordon, the reigning Calypso monarch, he's on with us. Devon Seal, who plays second, and Ife Allen, wonderful name, nice name. She won the NWAC National Calypso Queen, and of course, we're talking Kai, so we're talking.
To the political monarch as well, Devon Seal.
Devon is the political.
Sorry.
Thanks, Chucky.
You're welcome.
Political monarch.
Yes.
How do you deal with the backlash, if there's any at all, when you jump into, the commentary that you would at least unleash?
I should knock wood thus far. I mean, it has been over.
I think we should all knock wood.
I've yet to experience any backlash.
Yeah? Well, that's a good thing. So that means as a people, we can...
mature.
Well, I have experienced some negativity.
Tell me.
I saw somebody tweet me.
Because we talk.
They tweet me and they said, no, Chucky, that is not a calypso. That is a paid P&M advertisement. Yeah. I got
Did you respond?
No, I didn't respond.
Okay, very good.
I just looked at it and I said, while we may have moved forward significantly in terms of maturity and accepting songs for what they are, commentary, there's some level of maturity that we still have to work through.
And that is something that we have to deal with.
That's right.
When you wrote The Rose, what were you thinking about?
Well, it was actually penned by Larry Harewood, but the concept, I gave him the idea, and I was able to rationalize it based on all the recent developments.
Well, let's rationalize. Let's break it down.
Yeah, basically I was saying that our Prime Minister has been able to keep herself relatively unscathed, clean, despite all the challenges, all the revocations, the alleged scandals. She has been able to...
And I like your use of... You are wise with your...
Politically correct.
Yes, alleged. Go ahead.
So based on all of that, her ratings has been able to remain high, and it is from that standpoint that I said, well, he came up with the concept of the Rose, but I'm saying, how do we put that into a song, and that's where the conversation came about. So we were able now to develop the storyline in different ways, and then based on the recent developments, the reshuffle and all of that, we got some new lines and new verses,
like
which gave me some ammunition going into the finals.
A miscongeniality.
And that is the calypso, and that is
what it's all about.
That is what it's all about.
You say that with a wide smile, and I'm smiling with you. But we do have to take a break. When we come back, we continue. Well, I don't even want to say a conversation because we're talking. It's Let We Talk right here on TV4. Chucky, Ife, and Devon. We take a break and come back with much more. Remember, the number is 675-8749 and 675-8747. We'll come right back.
Anymore you hit it with a baseball bat, it playing it
Vancouver here, it's the site that was chosen by the former Minister of Sport, where we have a multi-purpose sporting facility. We are right now in the swimming section, where is a 50-meter pool, and at the back of us is the international diving facility. What we are establishing as a government is the creation of facilities for our athletes, and our athletes have never had these type of facilities in Trinidad and Tobago.
For when a disaster is coming or happening to us, then we want to be spiritually inclined. Let us incorporate it, if not every day, at least once a week.
Okay.
And don't sit alone. Sit with your consort, sit with your children, create and find a time.
Yes.
In your life schedule to incorporate Havan and do it simple.
This Sunday, we discuss the practice of Havan, Hinduism Explained, Sunday at 6:30 p.m. on TV4, our TV.
Well, our intention with the caravan is to bring to consumers education information. We're receiving a number of consumer complaints, and as a result, we felt that it has become necessary for us to educate consumers on their rights, their responsibilities, and some of the infractions they should look for around the Christmas into Carnival season.
At this time, people spend a lot of money to build cupboards, do plumbing, that kind of work at home. So we encourage them to try to get the person who they are engaging to use the handyman service contract. In the event that something happens, they can use it in a court of law because it's binding.
You have the right to choose. Nobody should force you to buy an item you do not wish to buy. You also shop smart by walking around and comparing prices and getting the best bargain that exists.
Welcome back to Let We Talk. You just saw a little piece or heard a little piece of Ife Allen, Child of Liberty. And of course, we continue a very frank and open discussion. We're talking, Kai, so where's Calypso going from here? And if you just locked on, I've got Chucky in the house, I've got Devon Seals in the house, and Ife Allen in the house as well. Now, remember, we're streaming at facebook.com/TV4 and also at gisltd.tt/TV-4. And we'll be taking your calls in a little while, 675-8747 or 675-8749. So let's talk about getting the music. We looked at seasonal, not just carnival, but the music itself. What do you think we need to do as at a national level and as a unified body to make our music 24/7? It's done in Jamaica. It's done in other islands. Why is it that we take a step backwards when it comes to our music? And not necessarily calypso, but overall, you know?
Well, first of all, we have to get the bodies, the leading bodies, they have to come on board. Tuco right now, I'm the Assistant Public Relations Officer of Tuco, and right now we are trying to, we cannot wait on government So we are trying to implement an internet radio where we would have Calypso 365 days per year. Yeah.
But I know this was probably tried a couple of times, or maybe once or twice.
That's the first step, where Calypsonians will be able to bring in their music, and you know, we'll get some kind of rotation. Collectively, Tuco, together with other bodies like, you know, the Chutney,
the stakeholders, we need to come together.
I can remember probably 9-10 years ago. Remember that match where they had, where Ella and David.
Yes.
Remember there was a, I think that was with Superior.
Yes, you are
where
correct.
They wanted about 60, it was a minimal amount, 65%, 60%. And they brought it. I don't know whatever happened to that, but I think now it is our rule.
More than ever.
Yeah.
It's our rule and function. But I want to take some calls, 675-8747 or 675-8749. We've got a call on the line. Good evening. Let me talk.
Good night.
Hi.
Good night.
Hi, good evening.
Yes, I have to say to Devon Fields, I love his James Brown hairstyle.
Thank you very much. That was courtesy. That was courtesy, Karina.
Your song as a woman was heartrending. And Chucky. I look forward this year to watching your two performances. It was extremely beautiful.
Thank you.
Some years ago, Doctor sang a song, Calypso Sick in the Hospital. And I'm seeing you as in the young generation keeping that alive.
Thank you so much.
I have to give you kudos for that.
Thank you. Much appreciated.
Thanks.
Thank you so much. Of course, I just want to remind our callers that when you call us, you listen to us on your phone and not on the television, so we don't get that feedback. So continue to give us your calls, 675-8747 or 675-8749. Of course, we welcome your comments and your opinion. So we're talking about getting together all the stakeholders.
For me, the solution is legislation.
But that's the bottom line here.
It has to be, and I know a couple of people are making moves where that is concerned, Ruby Victor in particular.
Yes.
Just up to last night.
He's championing the cause.
I was at an artist forum at Napa. We were talking about 50% local content, and some of the directors on the board of Napa were trying to put as much people together, as much research together. But in the discussion, and just last time we were having the discussion, the challenge is always big business and the commercial entities not seeing 50% local content as important.
We're going to take another call, Chucky. Good evening. Welcome to Lowy Talk.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Hi, good evening.
I just wanted to say, Chucky, congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. And I just heard Byron B was talking about a station that plays Calypso all day.
Wow.
Well, we do have one. We have WAC down in South that plays Calypso.
Local music.
Yes.
Right through. Right through. So, and a lot of Calypsos. So, you know, we have it. We have it. It's just that a lot, they don't tune in to really hear WAC. But WAC is there. With the culture, pushing the culture.
And that's important.
So congratulations, Mary, for the political.
Devon Seals.
I mean, Devon
Thank you very much.
And Chucky Darling, congratulations again. All the best.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. 675-8747 and 675-8749. I don't know if you look like Myron B with the wig, the outfit.
Yeah. He's accustomed to dressing up.
But our last caller made a very valid point. Of course, there's WAC, and I know that at some point in time, was it 94.7 or
94.7?
That's correct. They were promoting Radio Trinbago. That's no longer, well, it's defunct. But
I had an interview Thursday on one of those radio stations, and I felt hurt when I heard the sister station right opposite.
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
Yeah.
I was there too.
Oh yeah, I mean, walking in there, I was so depressed to hear
I did a little observation this year, and it was very intentional. Listening Carnival Tuesday night into Ash Wednesday, and as 12 o'clock reached,
switch
one time.
Yeah, it's immediate. So is it a mentality that we have, Ife, that foreign or what is not homegrown is better? Is it that is what has been driven into our minds and mentality? Because, you know, we are what we hear to a certain extent. And if that's what we are hearing continuously, some may say, again, the naysayers, let me be the devil's advocate here, that calypso, the soca, the standard is not up to par, and why should we listen to this watered-down type of music that cannot even break barriers internationally? So that's what we're facing here in terms of what some may deem the standard of the music in Trinidad and Tobago. How do we deal with that? Before we answer that, let's take a call. Good evening, let me talk.
Hello?
Hi.
Hi, good evening.
Hi, good evening. I just want to congratulate the winners of the competition. Mrs. Neil, Chucky, and Devon.
Hi, good evening.
Former Californian writer, performer. It was a pleasure to see you guys on the Skinner Park, and then you brought it home at the final.
Yes, sir.
I must say, Chucky, I listened to your song 2 weeks before the competition, and then I was able to say, Holy Claire, when I don't want you to feel anyway, Devon.
No,
I was in your corner all the time, but as a former writer, performer, I had to give it to Chucky when I...
As I said the other day, I said in a competition with Chucky or any reigning monarch, you can't just beat them, you have to knock them out. And that I didn't do.
But I know you guys have been dedicated, and where you've come from, as I said, you know, I met Chucky sometime back, and I said, you know, your dad would be smiling down on you.
Yeah,
that was last year. By the way, this is Solid Right. You know?
Figured as much, yeah.
Yeah. I said your dad would be smiling down on you. And then again this year, I said, wow.
Yes, sir.
He's the man who taught me to play the piano. So I want to extend to you guys all the best. Continue work, Calypso is safe, man.
Thank you, sir.
All right, bless you.
And hope to see you back soon, Mr. Wright.
I'll answer that when I see you.
Thank you so much. And of course, Ife, we don't want to lose you at all. You know, congratulations on all your accomplishments, you know.
Thank you.
You know, I know sometimes the women are the underdog and we have to just sort of lift our heads up so that, hey, I'm here. So Ife is the National Women's Action Committee Calypso Queen, and also the National Youth Committee star of tomorrow, Calypso Queen as well. Yes, and she's a Calypso Monarch semi-finalist, and she is here with us strutting her stuff, and I'm not saying that in a sexist way, but, you know, making sure that she is heard and she is seen. So, Ife, on that note, what do you think that we can do outside of, you know, coming together as a unit, collective bargaining? What else do you think that we can do to get our music out there?
Well, I think definitely the artists themselves, in terms of developing your craft, originality, making sure you stand out as an artist as well. Competition is a game, but at the same time, as artists, if we cooperate and help each other to build each other. For example, Sheldon Reed and several others would have assisted me in my songwriting abilities. You know, so I think it's all about developing yourself too, and how you promote yourself, the topics that you sing on. Many times, yes, we want to comment on national issues, but you also have to think international too when you are writing. Would this music sell internationally? And trying to be, you know, developed in all different fronts. Not, you know, my ability to perform, do I come with an original presentation? Everything matters, because that is what how you can build and take Calypso further. Promoting yourselves outside of the island as well.
This is what my next question.
Caribbean islands, other countries, Africa, Brazil. Further than that, well, people always tend to talk about the US, but there are many other markets as well that they can look at, you know, in terms of where Calypso will be automatic
there's the Asian market, there's the European market, there's the African as well. In terms of the standard of music, and you mentioned outside of Trinidad and Tobago, do you think that it's important that some artists use the other route. They go out and come back in. And some say that's the only way they get respect. They say that they've been here for 10, 15 years trying hard, knocking at the door, and they go to possibly, you know, China or even up. They go to Africa, and the music or the song is a hit, and then it comes down the line right back into Trinidad and Tobago, and it's embraced. Do you think that's necessary, or is that a sign?
That happens on some occasions, but I think for the most part, most artists feel that home is the Mecca.
That's right.
And they need to build themselves at home.
Yeah.
I think for the most part, and you know, touching on the point what Ife said about in universalizing the music, the thing about it is so difficult when you have a season to work with. When the focus is on the season, you almost try to create what in some circles they call eater food music. Just for that.
Can you repeat that?
Eater food music.
Can you say that again?
Eater food music.
Okay.
Just for that purpose, just for that period. But the thing about, coming back to the point about legislation, when you have opportunities, you are now better positioned to take a risk. When artists recognize I have the opportunity to get my music played year-round, they will focus and dedicate more time on the craft and getting it right, as opposed to just doing music for the season. And I think that is, and that is the primary purpose of legislation. For me, that is the single most important answer.
All right, outside of the legislation, which is key, investment, taking a chance. It's like taking a chance on love. You never know what's going to happen.
On a lotto.
or as you say, buying a lotto ticket. You just might hit the jackpot. But the standard and the quality of the music, and I want to draw reference to Kevin Little. And of course, I know many may not say it, but we cringed a little because as much as we're Caribbean, Kevin Little is Vincentian, and he hit the airwaves hard and created a sound, that groovy sort of, you know, rock with you kind of sound, feel-good vibe. Meanwhile, back on the farm in Trinidad and Tobago, it was, and that was not happening for us. However, he was able to make a mark. Rupee as well. So the groovy sound seems to be a little bit more appealing to the international audience as opposed to the now
140 beat per minute.
Yes. And I will also add, having or being able to chat with international celebrities, for instance, Soca Mona, and doing it for quite a few years, I can plainly and frankly say, I was told, oh my gosh, this is noise.
Noise.
And it hurt me to the core. The groovy aspect, they were fine, oh, this is nice. But from the time you went into power, it was painful. So what does that say? I mean, what does that say for us? Is it that they need to come to more so tense and
come back full circle?
Right back to square one.
Because when we went Calypso, because just in the seminar yesterday, they were saying, people don't know soca at all in the international market. All they know is Calypso. They know the word Calypso, they know Calypso songs. But that is the song that made us international. When people were traveling extensively in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. It was the groovy type music that was palatable to an international audience. There's a scientific rationale behind it as well, that not everybody could bounce to that fast BPM, but the groovy music.
I'm Trinidadian and I can't even bounce.
You understand? So we're coming back full circle and we're seeing if it's a slow road march and the advent of so many good groovy songs.
We got to take some calls. Good evening. Let me talk. Hello? Okay, I think we may have lost that call, but 6758747 or 6758749. The standard of the music, the sound of the music, the investment. You don't want to just run into a studio and, as you say, Chucky, eat the food. Let me take a chance. Let's see if this will, if it miss, it miss.
That is very important. You see, in music, your production and
quality.
Yeah, the quality of that.
So it really doesn't help. It doesn't help when that happens. It doesn't help the art form.
And not to knock any.
And we're not knocking anybody.
The broadcast quality as well.
Okay.
That needs to step up exponentially. It is terrible.
The broadcast quality.
Calypso Monarchs nights, the Mascara night, the Lighten.
That needs to be improved because people are streaming these things online and they're seeing footage on YouTube.
You do have a point.
They're not getting a favorable experience.
You do have a point. I do know that the CEO of
everybody needs to
of that network would have explained what the reasoning was behind the not so good broadcast quality. But again, we have to up the ante, because if we are going to be selling our culture and our art form internationally, it has to be palatable.
Yeah, man.
At the end of the day, we want people to say, if they're going to be paying 20 US or 30 US, to sit back and watch what we have to offer in Trinidad and Tobago. At least we need to see it first. Yeah, and sound good as well. We're going to take a call, 6758747. Good evening. Welcome to Lawito.
Hello, good night.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
Go right ahead.
I just wanted to say congratulations to the winning team there, Chucky, Devon, and Ife.
Thank you.
And to let you all know that you're doing a good job, not only for the culture, but as mentors to young people, you know, and contributing to nation building on the whole.
Thank you.
To Ife, she is a personal friend, but I wouldn't say my name, but Ife is a role model, especially to young persons, young ladies, young men, and she does a lot of other work helping disadvantaged and challenged people in the society. And to Ife and the group, I wish you all the best. Continue doing a great work, you know, and all God's blessings for the future. A very bright future, I might add.
Thank you much.
Thank you and good night.
Good night.
Thank you. Role models. You know, setting an example, the standard, and setting the bar so high that, you know, it is hard work that you have to put in. And of course, hard work yields results. I just want to draw reference to Marshall Montano and comments being made about, and this is Soca Monarch, Marshall, why don't you step back and allow other people to win? But is that really the case? I mean, if he is that good, then it means that you need to step up to the game and bring your A game. Bring it to the table. You can't tell me that I'm so good that I must step back. If I am that good, then beat me.
I think it goes both ways.
Yeah?
I think having won, five times, and 3 Groovy and 5 Power, he has brought it to the standard. He has shown people, well, from an individual perspective, what he can do, and that he's probably the best at it. But at the same time, he has demonstrated to people what is required for success.
And I think that is where we need to set the bar. Whether it's Marshall Montano or otherwise. We just need to take a call. Good evening. Welcome to Lawi Talk. Hello?
Oh, yes, good night.
Hi.
Good evening. Nicola looks really nice tonight. This is Elazo here. You know what? I was wondering about our music. Nicola, our music, our street soca music, right? Can't even make the top 100 in foreign. I find this is very strange, and have some tunes making the top 10 and the top 100 pop tunes, flows. But that is, I mean, it's not, I mean, it's kind of rubbish compared to our soca, street soca tunes can't even make the top 100. I don't know why we're not selling our music in foreign, especially our street music. And you know what? Everybody in panel here tonight, for the artists, to make some DVDs. You know, like 10 artists singing some tunes and make some DVDs and sell. Nicola, good night then.
All right, Alonzo, take care.
Yes.
I mean, opinions, of course, your opinion will matter at the end of the day, because he made a valid point. He would hear music that he thinks that is just not up to par, and we've got so much good music right here in Trinidad and Tobago. So again, it's quality standard. We were talking about setting the bar and raising the standard. First place, second place. At the end of the day, you need to beat him.
Exactly, I wouldn't encourage.
So you wouldn't tell Chucky, step down now, let somebody win this time.
When I started in Calypso Monarch, that was in 1999. That was the first time, not started, but the first time when I got into the finals. And in that competition, we had Black Stallion.
Wow.
We had Duke. We had
Sandra.
Sandra won that year, in fact. We had Duke, we had Chalk Dust, and we had Shadow. And I placed 7th.
Wow.
And I was so proud because 8th, in fact, I placed 8th. 9th was Chalk Dust, 10th was Duke, 11, and I said to myself, wow, I felt like if I won. So at the end of the day, I wouldn't encourage anyone to, you know, step down. I think it's good when you're in a competition.
The very monarch must reign. That's part of the carnival
Yeah,
tradition.
yeah.
That's part of the tradition that is carnival.
And you know, some people
and competition is part of the carnival landscape
about competition as well. But
yeah, that's part of who we are. That's part of the very system that we have developed, that is carnival.
And not even outside of carnival, from the time the child enters first year.
But everything in life is competition.
Yeah, it is.
Especially here in Trinidad.
Yeah.
But how do you feel, again, and I think it boils back down to standards and setting that bar so high because, you know, yes, there are good things happening in Carnival, seasonal, but yet still some will say, the naysayers, that it's the same thing every single year. And why is that? If we're supposed to have growth and development, why are we in the same place at the same time singing the same song?
And that's why it's important we have to find some innovative ways, you know, to attract, Can I
push the envelope?
Push the envelope. Push it. You're talking.
The people that enjoy carnival the way it is are the ones who benefit from it the most and also benefit from the fact that carnival is seasonal and may not want to see the local indigenous art form extend any further. That is my personal belief. So when you have a society that does not value the art form in the way that a Jamaica values the reggae or a Barbados values their artists, you're going to find it difficult to attract international attention because what do we represent? What does our art form really reflect? Does it reflect the ethos of our people, the expression of our people? We cannot sell that to anybody internationally and say, this is what soca music represents. The Calypsonian could have done it because he represented a mockery to the established order, the colonial masters in the 40s when he dressed up in the top hat and his suit and he sang about this and he sang about that. Internationally linked topics to the Caribbean that he sold and he was able to travel and everybody understood. Now we don't have that kind of reflection. And that is, and it's based on that lack of value across the society that we aren't able to sell. If everybody in the society values the same thing, then we'll be able to export more.
Yeah, make a difference.
Legislation comes in again, just need to say that.
So, not pulling off of the legislation point, but I think that you need an educational drive in connection, just in connection with what he said, that, you know, that to instill that sense of patriotism. You know, it must not be separate. Okay, these entities, they are trying to come together to push Calypso internationally. You know, you have NACC, you have TUCO, you have NWAC, you have all these organizations doing so much work. But at the same time, the Chutney Foundation and so on. But at the same time, that needs to be accompanied with an educational drive to educate the population as to how important our local art forms are, because it's not a matter of taste. It's not a matter of as a consumer, what do I go for? Where's my consumption? And it's really going for the foreign stuff most of the time. So remember Gervais' song, Buy Local. You know, speaking about Gael's work and so on. And this Calypso reminds us all the time of the things we need to do. Right within Calypso, we can find the solution for internationalizing Calypso.
All right.
You know?
I just need to take a call. We do have a call on the line. 675. Hello. Welcome to Larry Talk. Hi, go right ahead.
Good evening.
Yes.
Hi, you're live.
Hello, yes. Do you want my comment?
Yes.
Yes, I am saying that I'm a Trinidadian and I think Calypso, etc. are fantastic forms of music. But when you are trying to obviously export it, you have to obviously adapt it to suit your audience. That's normal marketing strategy. There are not lots of people in the outer world, other countries, they may not like the fast music that we have. So if you want to sell, you have to modify it, find out what they want, and then you're in a better place to expand Trinidad music.
Thank you so much. We've got another call. Let me talk. Good evening.
Hello.
Hi. Go right ahead.
Hello, good evening.
Hi.
Good evening.
First of all, I would like to introduce myself. I'm an artist as well. Philman is the name.
Welcome, Philman.
Yes, brother.
I just tell you the whole channel for the staff that I like the program that you're doing. I think it's a very, it would be a nice contribution contribution to the nation because a lot of artists, Trinidad and Tobago, you see that the reason why I'm just that the nation, right, is that Chucky.
Yes, sir.
And Ife Allen and Devon Seal. There's three humble and nice individuals that I don't know if you want to see like them good and they come and they aren't more. But they are persons that could lead by example, not just in the music, but by how they carry about themselves in the public, how they deal with people. So when I still on the TV and I see it, I feel like it's God to send them people there. Because I know just as much as I appreciate what's going on, other persons who genuinely support youth and support growth and development in the art form would appreciate. And the person who was interviewing as well, I think it's doing a good job on Channel 4. I like to say keep supporting local. And what will help the college platform to go forward, I'm talking to Chucky as well as the artists and everyone, all who listen, it's trying not to sing much political music because we only have a limited audience, which is the home base. I'd be interested in that. Try to sing music that could touch people in Afghanistan, touch people in New York, because a lot of issues people dealing with all over the world. If you can really sing a political commentary in New York and people appreciate it, like just sing something about love, bring it together, I think you'll be doing something. So the step to take is try and not address this politics thing because this politics thing brings too much division. And the competition so that the end, it causes us not to respect each other as artists. You see? Because if you was from a particular party and I don't support it, I might disrespect your contribution, you know? So we are just going to try to be open-minded and respecting to the art and as well respect your brother and sister in the calypso fraternity because I know at the end of the day, because I'm an artist myself and I know it's not easy that some people compose some good songs to see the nation go forward and they don't get respect for it. But someone might disrespect a political party, which I might be in or you might be in, and then it sends a third other. So if I like if you performing in a show, and I see, but there's not the same person who disrespect Patrick Manning or somebody, whoever the art person, it tends to cause
there's some friction, yes.
Art, you know? So I don't want to talk too long, but I love what's going on.
Alrighty.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Philman was a finalist in the Stars of Tomorrow and the Young Kings competition.
Young Kings as well. Yeah. Very interesting point. And again, if we're looking to take it outside of Trinidad and Tobago, yes, we may have our satire in terms of addressing political issues, but the average Joe on the outside may not understand what we're talking about or who we're referring to, and may not be able to relate to the commentary. So how do we address that? I mean, he speaks about love and other issues, international issues. But we do have to take a break. We're going to come back. This is Lewy Talk. Stay with us.
On abuses, they keep making excuses.
I think there's still a lot of work to be done. If we're having so many cases of domestic violence, then I think we still have to reach the women and girls in a way we're probably not reaching them at the moment.
It's a good thing to have to get people with the knowledge of that they mustn't abuse women and mustn't abuse children in general.
It relates to women, and many women, they don't come forward, and some that do come forward, they get help. So it's just informative for the women. I think it will educate them because they will take a stand, because that is what all the information is about, to take a stand.
When we looked at the plans of the Diego Martin, of the Carenage Health Center, we realized that it was just a basic health center. The basic health center was simple, with small rooms and for antenatal care, chronic disease to some extent. Not much else except what is being done at present. So I decided to go back to the drawing board and put something here, not only as a health center, but something that will also be developed for what we call investigative care, as well as emergency care, rehabilitative care, and a short stay. And in doing that, we came across with a concept.
This Wednesday on TV4, it's time for the women to take the field. For Women in Boots, an expert panel will give the ball-by-ball discussion, including Sharon O'Brien, President of the Women's Football League, Janelle James, Assistant FIFA Development Officer, and Vanetta Flanders, Senior National Women's Team Manager. Women in Boots, Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. exclusively on TV4, Our TV.
The more you hit it with a baseball bat.
Welcome back. Well, we were talking, so let me talk. And of course, we're streaming at facebook.com/OurTV4 and gisltd.tt/TV-4. So we are live. So of course, this is live television, so anything is possible. And we're talking about basically the attitude of the society. And we had a very interesting call. How do you draw the line when, what's his name?
Philman.
Philman speaks about when we get into the political commentary, it may actually inhibit the artist or define him, and it would affect maybe his or her audience. Right. So how do we deal with that? And when we're looking at moving outside of Trinidad and Tobago, again, individuals may not relate to what we may be singing or portraying. So how do we bridge that gap?
So like the role of the Calypsonian, like as what Duke would have said in What is Calypso, how the line goes again? It's as an editorial in song of the life that we undergo. You talk about, he spoke about the massa and the slave. I just forgot the line, the exact line in the song, but that is the role of the Calypsonian. So, I mean, you could have many different topics. I mean, I'm not saying that one should just focus only on political commentaries, but political commentary is part of the Calypso landscape.
The genesis of Calypso hails from political commentary.
Yes, that is correct.
The toy lads slaves in the field.
The genesis of it, it's a song of resistance. Yeah. It's a movement for change, and that's the essence of it.
So it's part of the landscape, it's part of the fabric of Calypso.
But how do we get the audience, the wider audience, to embrace that? Is that the challenge?
Different types of
right. Okay.
Because that's what the greats were able to achieve. Because Sparrow sang about all the politics in the world, but he still sang social commentary. He sang about world issues. He sang for the party. He sang smut. He sang satire. Duke was the same. Stalin was the same.
Humor as well.
Chalk-dust. So the greats are able now to show their
all right, but let me ask this though. But Sparrow is of course, he's popular.
Right.
The songs, when you ask a foreigner, do you know Sparrow? What song do you think they sing first? Jean and Dinah, Rosita and Clementina, on the corner. Because, I mean, would they remember a song that he may have sang about maybe the administration?
They may remember that.
Yeah? So that's very ticklish and very iffy because, again, the foundation of the art form and the music, as opposed to, you know, spreading the art form, selling our music, embracing an international audience, but still at least remembering who we are and where we've come from.
I still want to state also that when we look at the point that Philman made, there's also the idea of so many young persons, for example, Philman would have attended Skinner Park for the first time this year, right? And looking on on stage, and then seeing some persons getting toilet paper, seeing that no, honestly, it is a negative. It negatively impacts on a lot of young people.
I'm not going up on that stage for nobody to fly wide for me.
And then we talk about taking Calypso forward, but how do you take Calypso forward with that attitude?
We've got to raise the standard, but guess what? I think I have to wrap it up. Literally, the talk done.
Fine, let us talk a little more.
I don't want to say the party done, the talk done right here. Gentlemen and lady, thank you so much for being here. It's been nice, nice and tight, and of course to all our callers, those who tried to get in, we've got Lewy Talk next week, and who knows, anything is possible in this forum. So to Devon Seals, to Ife, and of course to Chucky Gordon, all the best. I hope you collect your prize monies soon. If you collected it already. Soon. But thank you for accommodating. We're not going to talk about that. Thank you for accommodating us here this evening, right here on TV4. It was my pleasure as well. I'm Nicola Barito, and once again, Lewy Talk. It's a wrap. Take care.